guys, welcome back to Crazy Brave Homeschool. Apologies that this camera's a little bit shaky. I just have it on me real quick just to say hi. I'm going to turn it around to show you guys something that some of you have expressed some interest in seeing up close, and that is my folk songs compilation that I put together for the 25-26 school year as a part of our morning basket. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Today's actually the 4th, and we are settling down from a day of festivities and everyone's relaxing inside. So I thought I would take this opportunity to shoot this video while everyone's chilling out. This is something that I was inspired to make from Ambleside Online, which is a free Charlotte Mason curriculum online. Their curriculum does folk songs, which is something that I hadn't really heard of doing until I discovered Ambleside, but we are not a Christian homeschool, and some of their folk songs were just a little too religious in content. So I decided, well, I was like, I mean, folk music isn't strictly religious, of course, and it has so many fascinating cultural roots, and there's so much great folk music that has come out of this country. And so I thought I would just do a little bit of digging online to see what I could come up with for like kid-friendly folk songs. And I'm gonna give you guys a flip through. So let me turn this around and we'll get to it. All right, so I don't have a tripod for the camera. I'll just try to keep it as steady as I can. I decorated this on Canva and put it together in Canva. I am thinking about, so I actually have more ideas than just this one, but I am planning to create an Etsy shop for curriculum resources that I plan to sell. And I would love to know in the comments if this compilation is something that you guys would be interested in purchasing, so I know if it's worth it to get it up on Etsy. Okay, so I'll just go through each song at a time and just kind of give you a little blurb on what the song is about, like its historical significance. This land is your land. So this is for August, and then I have the lyrics here so that the kids and I can learn the song, sing along. This is by Woody Guthrie. And then the blurb here at the bottom says, "This Land is Your Land" is one of the most famous American folk songs written by Woody Guthrie in 1940. While often perceived as a patriotic anthem celebrating the beauty of the United States, the song originally carried a more critical, socially conscious message about economic inequality and land ownership. So we studied U.S. history, my daughter and I, last year, and so I think that most of these songs will land fairly well with her, because it's several topics that we have already hit, and like colonization and slavery and things like that. So some of this stuff will definitely not be new to her. I am not sure how much I'll discuss these songs with my kindergartner, but he always kind of has an open ear and he's curious about what we are discussing too. So that's fine if he kind of wants to get in on the conversation. For September, I did "Blowin' in the Wind" by Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's "Blowin' in the Wind" from 1962 is one of the most iconic protest songs in American history, symbolizing the civil rights and anti-war movements of the 1960s. I have a little mistake here I need to fix, but for October, I did "She'll Be Comin' Round the Mountain." I chose this one because it is a super classic folk song that I just think would be fun for my kids to learn. But I decided to not add a blurb about it here because I think that it originally referenced the second coming of Christ. And I'm just not ready to start the Bible talk with my kids yet. My daughter is curious about Jesus, and I do plan on telling her some Bible stories from a more spiritual, somewhat secular point of view. But I am not quite ready to get into, concepts such as the rapture. All right, "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot" is for November. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot is a spiritual folk song with origins in the era of American slavery, often interpreted as a song of hope and longing for freedom, both physically and spiritually. It speaks of a chariot coming to carry the singer home, which can be understood as a desire for death and entrance into heaven, or as a metaphor for escaping slavery to a place of freedom. Joseph and Mary, the Cherry Tree Carol is, definitely more of a religious folk song, but it is perfect for December. I like the song. I like the lyrics. The ballad relates an apocryphal story of the Virgin Mary, presumably while traveling to Bethlehem with Joseph for the census. In the most popular version, the two stop in a cherry orchard and Mary asks her husband to pick cherries for her. Joseph spitefully tells Mary to let the child's father pick her cherries. Oh, sorry guys, that was really out of... At this point in most versions, the infant Jesus from the womb speaks to the tree and commands it to lower a branch down to Mary, which it does. Joseph, witnessing this miracle, immediately repents his harsh words, and so on. The next verse picks up with Jesus on his mother's lap, telling her of his eventual death and resurrection. We are going to be studying a lot, or what we're starting to study mythology coming up in the 3rd grade. And when it comes to something like this, I think that we can treat a story like this as mythology as well. And so I am fine telling my daughter this story. He's Got the Whole World in His Hands for January. He's Got the Whole World in His Hands is a traditional African-American spiritual folk song that celebrates God's sovereignty and protection over all creation. The song emphasizes that God is in control of everything from the natural world, wind, rain, to all people, regardless of their circumstances or actions. It's a message of reassurance and faith, reminding listeners that even amidst chaos and suffering, God's power and love encompasses everything. This is definitely hand in hand with our beliefs in our family. I don't like to use the words control when I talk about God, because I think that we are all incredibly powerful and all a part of God. But I do really love this message that even amidst chaos and suffering, God's power and love encompasses everything. And at the end of the day, there is only love. Where Have All the Flowers Gone? This is for February. Where Have All the Flowers Gone is a song often categorized as an anti-war song that explores the cyclical nature of life, death, and the futility of war. The song's lyrics depict a progression from the simple beauty of flowers being picked by young girls to those girls becoming wives, their husbands going off to war, and ultimately the men dying and being buried in graveyards. The song structure is cyclical, returning to the initial image of flowers, thus highlighting the tragic and repetitive nature of conflict. Puff the Magic Dragon is for March. Written by Leonard Lipton and Peter Yarrow, the song tells the bittersweet story of Puff, a magic dragon, and his young companion, Jackie Paper. As Jackie grows up and moves on from childhood fantasies, Puff is left alone, symbolizing the loss of innocence and the transition from childhood to adulthood. For April, I've been working on The Railroad. This is also a fun one for the kids. And is an American folk song that originated in the 19th century, likely from African-American labor in the South. It chronicles the construction of railroads and the workers who built them, using imagery and themes related to the railroad industry. The song evolved as African-American labor shifted from building levees to building railroads. So just some really great historical references. This one's actually out of England, Green Sleeves, but it's just such a classic folk song, and it is lyricless, but I just remember loving Green Sleeves when I was a kid, so I'm excited to introduce it to my kiddos. It says, this English ballad is often attributed to King Henry VIII, expressing his longing and heartbreak. Legends have it that King Henry VIII wrote this song for his second wife, Anne Boleyn. And then lastly for June, I have Clementine. Oh My Darling Clementine is a traditional American folk song commonly credited to Percy Montrose in 1884. The lyrics have changed over time. And what started as a sincere lament became a parody. Clementine is the daughter of a 49er, a miner in the 1849 California gold rush, but she drowned. As the song progresses, the changes become evident with the tone turning tongue-in-cheek. The second verse, for example, mentions the size of Clementine's feet, so big she wears boxes instead of shoes. I don't know. I don't totally love like the the historical reference of the song, but it is a really fun one to sing. So, and that is it. So I'd love to know what you guys think of this compilation and if it's something that you might be interested in owning yourself. If you like actually know of any more historical references to these songs that are important that I'm leaving out, please let me know, because the history of these folk songs is definitely something new to me in some of them for sure. So if you know more about them than what I have found, then please educate me. Anyway, hope you guys like the flip through, and I'll see you in the comments. Okay, bye.